All right, everybody. Welcome in the room on tonight. We are so excited to have you here. We're so excited that you're joining. We have some great information on you tonight, but our sole purpose here is to make sure that we are answering your questions and getting the information is that you want to get answered. I know a few of you have reached out to us on Instagram. You have asked your questions, and that's here what we want to do on tonight. So before we get started, we're going to start with some introductions, y'all. My name is Aisha. I am the Assistant Director of Regional Recruitment here at Florida State University. A little bit about me, I did graduate from FSU with a bachelor's degree in finance, and I have previously served the university as the CARE Summer Bridge Program Coordinator. I am joined here tonight with a colleague of mine and some wonderful and amazing students that are currently enrolled at Florida State. And so we're gonna give them a chance to introduce themselves, and then we're gonna get right into it.
Happy Monday, everybody. My name is Terrell Williams. Sorry about that, Carter. My name is Terrell Williams. I am the Program Manager for Diversity and Outreach, and I've been in the Office of Admission for about 3.5 years now. And my sole purpose is to assist with our review process for our admissions process, as well as oversee our CARE application process as well. I'm so happy to be with you all tonight.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Carter Marius. I'm from Immokalee, Florida. I'm a psychology major, minoring in business analytics. I'm a fourth-year senior, graduating in 2021, and I currently serve as the president of the Iota Delta chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated here at Florida State University. I'm also involved with Black Student Union, and I do research with the Sports Psychology Lab here at Florida State University.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gabriella. I'm a junior at FSU. I'm studying biology. I'm on the pre-med track. My minors are in chemistry and psychology. And I'm from Winter Garden, Florida, which is just outside Orlando. The things that I'm involved with at FSU, I'm a hospitality coordinator for Dance Marathon at FSU. I'm a part of the Hang Tough Foundation, which serves local families who have kids dealing with pediatric illness or injury. I'm also involved with the Academic Recruitment Organization, giving one-on-one tours to students, oftentimes in the spring semester, who have been accepted to FSU. And I'm also involved with Student Government Association here as a PR chair for one of our political parties on campus.
Hi, everyone. My name is Megan. I am a senior from Miami, Florida. I'm double majoring in creative writing and political science. And some things that I'm involved in, the first is the honors program. So I've been part of the honors program since I was admitted into FSU. And through that, I've been able to do a lot of great community service, and I've also been able to have my own class of honors freshmen for a program called Honors Colloquium. So that was a really great experience for me.
Greetings, everybody. My name is Miles Sams from Jacksonville, Florida. I am a third-year junior majoring in finance. Some of my current involvement is the treasurer of the Iota Delta chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. I'm also the treasurer of the National Panhellenic Council and the first vice president of NAACP here at Florida State.
Hey everyone, I'm Nick. I'm a senior from Tampa, Florida, majoring in international affairs and economics. I'm involved with a lot of globally focused organizations here on campus, such as Global Scholars and Global Peace Exchange. And I'm also very involved with the honors program through things like the Academic Recruitment Organization and Honors Colloquium that were mentioned before.
Hey everyone, my name is Taylor. I am a senior studying athletic training from Tampa, Florida. I am graduating in the spring of 2021. Woo woo. And a few things organizations I'm a part of is I'm a member of the Kappa Epsilon chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I serve as a special events coordinator for the National Panhellenic Council. I am a member of the Student Athletic Training Association, where we work with athletes, and we work on clinicals, and we do one-on-one rehab with them and just really gain some experience for our future careers. And then lastly, I serve as a university ambassador for the school. So I provide tours for prospective students, as well as I do a lot of telecounseling over the phone, just to really give information of FSU and the campus to prospective students as well.
All right, so as y'all can see, we've got some really active students at Florida State University, and they're here to share their experience with you. So before we get into that live Q&A, I just want to remind you all, listen, we are on social media. Go ahead and pull out those phones. You can follow us on Instagram. We are at fsu.admissions. If you have questions, you can go ahead and post them there, but we definitely want you to make sure you utilize that YouTube live chat and post all your questions. We're going to make sure we get an opportunity to do that for you. As we go into our presentation, I do want to make sure that you all know a little bit more about Florida State. And so with FSU, there are 3 ways that you can apply to FSU, okay? So you can use the common or coalition application. You can also use our institutional application. That's going to give you a really good insight into how you can start your application with Florida State. And so we do not care which application method you choose, just that you select one of those application opportunities, okay? Once you do that, you're definitely going to go through a list of things that we're going to need from you. So your SSAR, we're actually going to ask you to complete your application on what we call our application status check, and you'll get an email out to that as well. Something else that we're going to need you to know is that we have a priority admissions deadline. And so basically what that means is that if you apply to Florida State and you complete your application by December 1st, that's going to give you priority admissions consideration to Florida State University. And so what we mean by that is that everything on your application status check is completely checked off and you are ready to go. For those of you who, and I know this is a question that everybody is asking, all right, what about test scores? And so for our out-of-state folks, joining the call on today, listen, y'all, we are a state institution, and so we are actually required to have test scores on file. So you do have to test to be considered for Florida State University. But because we know that we are in a unique year-end situation, we are going to accept test scores until the end of the year, December 31st, 2020, to meet that priority application deadline. So we don't want you to miss that opportunity. Just make sure that you get that application in by December 1st. And if you're waiting on those tests, you have until the end of the year to meet that priority admissions decision. After that, you do have until March 1st to complete your application to Florida State, so no worries there. You still have plenty of time to go ahead and make sure that you're able to test for the ACT or the SAT. Just to give you some insight into how we admit students. And so I like to say that FSU, we have an Office of Admission, folks. We are not the Office of Denials, okay? So we actually look for ways to admit students into Florida State University. And so with that, we have a plethora of admissions decisions. And so when you're applying to FSU, you can either apply for a fall or a summer term. Once we issue our decisions, we give students either a fall or summer admit. Students can apply and get a summer offer. You can also get a care acceptance if you are a Florida resident and first generation and you apply for that particular program. We also have Seminole Pathways, and then we also offer a spring offer. So I promise you guys, we're looking for ways to admit students to the university, not to deny them. And that's why we're here on tonight. And so definitely ask your questions. We want to make sure that we answer that for you. To give you some insight into our review process at Florida State, there's not one single way to get admitted to FSU. We do look at a multitude of things. And so we're looking at your academics, which includes your test scores, your GPA, your grade trends, you know, the rigor in your coursework. We're also looking at essays and resumes, and they aren't required for our admissions process, but we do encourage them because we get to know you just a little bit more beyond your grades and test scores. And so we like to see what you're involved in as well. We also ask for a resume, right? And so on your resume, we're looking for things like outside of the classroom, extracurriculars, community service, job and internship experience. We want to know a little bit more about what you do outside of the classroom. And then we also look at some landscape data. And so that's basically telling us what opportunities are at your school and what have you taken advantage of. And then we also provide a space on the application for you to tell us how COVID-19 has impacted you and your family, whether that be medically, economically, or anything else. We do want to know a little bit more about that, okay? So there's a multiple ways that you all can get in contact with us. We'll make sure to share those opportunities with you before the end of our call. So you definitely want to stick around on how you can hear from us or connect with us so that we can get your questions answered further. So at this time, I am going to pass it over to Terrell. Terrell's going to take us away with our entire program. Terrell?
Thank you, Saisha, for that introduction. So we're going to get our students involved. We got some questions coming in the chat now. So the first question I want to throw out is kind of like a gimme for all of our student panelists. So why did you choose FSU over, another college, for example? So whoever wants to take a stab at it, feel free to do so. And then we'll just kind of go around the panel to kind of see, what your answers are. You can take it away, Carter.
How is everybody? It's me, Carter Marius. The reason why I chose FSU, it was more so the tradition. And I had family members who was already here, and their experiences here were, it was outstanding. And in coming, visiting and seeing how the traditions are, the football program, I'm very big with sports. So that drew me in. You know, FSU does have a legacy of doing great with football and other sports. So those right there really drew me in and really had me swayed to come here to FSU. And since being here, it's been great.
Thank you, Carter. So Gabrielle, you can take a stab at it next.
Yeah, so there were a couple reasons that really made FSU the right fit for me. One of my biggest ones was when I first came to visit. It was the summer before my junior year. It was my very first college visit ever, and the amount of just warmth and kindness that I experienced from all the people I visited really just made me feel comfortable and like I was at home as soon as I stepped onto FSU's campus. So that was a really big deal for me because I've moved around a lot growing up. And so I wanted to find a place where I could kind of put down roots and feel comfortable for being there for 4 years. So that was a big thing. And then FSU's research program was really big for me too. I've been involved with research since my freshman year. I was a part of the UROP program, Undergraduate Research Opportunity Program. I got to work in the psychology department. Now I work in FSU's College of Medicine. So both of those were kind of two big factors for me when trying to find a school that was going to be the right fit for me, both academics and social, all good things where that's concerned.
Thank you, Gabriella. Taylor, you can take a stab at it next.
Yeah, so what really brought me to FSU, I would probably say will be the tour. Well, first off, we'll start off with this. My mom, there was a show on Showtime where the FSU football team was being shown and it was their entire season. And as an athletic training major, my mom thought it'd be very important for me to watch this. And when I tell you, I fell in love with Florida State from that whole season. And then I was like, Mom, we have to go visit. And I ended up coming to Florida State. And out of all the campuses I visited maybe 5 prior. Florida State, it's like when I walked on campus, it literally felt like I was home. Like, I'm not even trying to be corny or not even trying to be funny. Like, I really felt like I was home. People were coming up to me and they were talking to me. I was asking people questions in the bookstore about their experiences. And they were just so open to talking to me and telling me how their years were. And so that just made me feel really comfortable. And I just really thought, especially with them having athletic training as a whole major by itself, and with their great resources that they have, I knew that FSU was probably going to be the best pick for me.
Thank you, Taylor. So Miles, you can go next.
So for me, what really attracted me to Florida State was all the different options Florida State has to offer. One of those options being the International Pathways program. So that's how I got into Florida State. So my first semester in college, I actually went abroad and studied in Valencia, Spain. So that's what really got me attracted to Florida State. Then when I came on campus in the spring of 2 years ago, the whole energy of the campus, all the students, there's such a morale of this campus that really just feels like home and lets you belong in it.
Thanks for that, Miles. You can go ahead and Megan.
Yeah, so I agree with everything everyone said so far. For me, no one in my family had gone to any of the schools in Florida, so I was, totally objective. I had no prior alliances to any school. I went on a college tour actually with my high school. And FSU was the first school we visited, and it was just immediately, I just thought the campus was so beautiful and everyone was really nice. So I definitely second what Gabriella was saying about people being really warm and welcoming. And then even after we visited other schools, I just couldn't really stop thinking about FSU because I think it was the one school where I could really see myself at. So that just kind of stuck with me. And then for my program, I wanted to go into English. We have amazing liberal arts programs. So that kind of just sealed the deal for me as to why I wanted to become a Florida State student.
And
so I'll take it last. Yeah. So for me, it's been a little bit different. I had quite a bit of family who had gone to FSU. So I've been in Florida State close since I was born. But when it came time to start looking at colleges, I I didn't really want to go there. That was kind of always the path that was there. But I didn't think FSU was like academically that great of a university. But then when I actually came and visited, I realized how wrong that was, just from hearing about all the things that the people here were doing. Comparing it to other universities, it just seemed like FSU provided the most experiences outside of the classroom to kind of set you apart from other students, so that when you're applying to grad schools or jobs or whatever, you really have a lot more of those experiences, so that you know what you want to apply for and you're much more qualified to apply for those. And since I've been here, that's been the case way more than I even expected. So what other people have talked about already in terms of research, leadership, and for me, the most important, going abroad, FSU has paid for me to go abroad 2 summers, and it would have been a third if not for COVID. So they have given me the money, the resources to do these things. So really like given me the support to do these, both in advising and with money, that I would not have been able to do at other universities. So that was the biggest thing for me.
Thank you all for sharing your reasonings on selecting Florida State University as your school of choice. So we got some questions coming hot and ready in the chat. So I'm going to throw this one to Saisha because it's more of an admissions question. Does FSU require FAFSA to receive merit-based aid only?
For merit-based aids, we're only actually utilizing merit. And so that is your grades, your, GPA, test scores. That's only thing that's being considered in merit-based scholarship, okay? Merit is essentially academics, and that's what we're looking at. It's academic only for our merit-based scholarships at Florida State. We do have 2 from the Office of Admissions, and so we do have an out-of-state tuition waiver for our out-of-state students. And then we also have our University Freshman Scholarship for our in-state students out of the Office of Admissions. Now, if you're considering our University Honors Program, which all of you have the opportunity to apply for our University Honors Program, they do offer an additional scholarship opportunity for students who are admitted into the University Honors Program. And so you do have to be admitted in order to apply. That's the one requirement for that. But once you're admitted into honors, which you'll find out on decision day, is that you can then apply for the Presidential Scholars Program, which is open to all the honor students. And you have the opportunity to receive funding and we're in terms of scholarship amount of money. And then you also have, with that scholarship, they also offer a stipend for you to either do some research, which we are an R1 institution, or if you would like to study abroad, you can use that stipend to study abroad. Very robust study abroad program at Florida State. We have over 60 programs in 20 different countries. And so we're actually ranked very high at number 11 in the country when it comes to our study abroad program. So if you're looking to study abroad, this is the place that you want to be.
Thank you for that, Saisha. So we had another question, but I think you already touched on it. Someone asked, will FSU honors program decisions be issued at the same time as general admission? So yes. And then the second part of that question was the honors program application deadline is December 1st, correct?
Correct.
Yep. So December 1st for the application deadline, you'll be notified on February 18th with your admission decision, as well as your honors decision, as well as scholarship decision too. So everything will be notified to you at that date of February 18th. So we have a question for the panelists. So how big is Greek life at FSU? I know we have a few members that are part of Greek life. Can you all talk about the experience you all have, as well as how is it on our campus?
I can start if that's okay. So I'm like I said, I'm a part of the Kappa Epsilon chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And my journey was, I'm a legacy. So my mom is also a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. She actually graduated from Fisk University. And it was kind of instilled in me my whole life, like, hey, you're gonna pledge something and it better be, you know what. And that's just kind of how it was for me. I really didn't have a choice. A lot of my family is Greek. We have them all in the family. So it was always a goal for me when I came to college. I knew that's something I wanted to do. And at the time, it was actually ironic. The chapter that I was trying to join was actually off campus. They were not on campus at the time. So it was actually great that they were able to come back. We actually got grad chapter to come back, and they were able to put my line through. And it was a very powerful, impactful, and just necessary journey for me, because I feel like going through the process that I went through and just having the line sisters that I have. Mind you, I have 48 line sisters. It has really put me in a position where I have grown so much. I have noticed that the amount of growth that I've had since freshman year till now, mind you, I crossed my sophomore year. And I just feel like Delta has just made me the woman I wanted to be. It instilled time management practices in me. It instilled just so many disciplines that I needed. And I'm really glad that I did that journey. And I'm really glad that I can hopefully bring that on to my next generation, because they're not going to have a choice either.
Carter or Miles, you all want to take a stab at that? Because I know you both are in the same chapter at Florida State. You want to talk about that experience?
Yeah, I guess I'll start. So for me, I would say Greek life is relatively large here at FSU. So many different things each chapter offers that people can find, you know, what their vision is and where they align with each chapter. So that's a plus for a lot of students. For my personal experience, what Greek life has helped me with is definitely during this time in COVID, it's helped me stay together, still be with the community, maybe it be virtually, but being with the chapter really helps the camaraderie still be alive here at FSU. We still put on events. So that's one thing that campus life is still thriving at, even under the pandemic and things of that nature.
With my experience in Greek life, I think it is, like Miles said, it is relatively large at FSU. It's still very active out here. And it's pretty much, on my personal experience, it's helped me get out of my shell. I've always been one to be active and serve in the community, but I've always been kind of soft-spoken. But, you know, recently I was initiated back in 2019. And since then, I've managed to work my way up to a lot of leadership positions. I currently serve as the president, and being able to serve, engage, and interact with the community, especially in times like this right now in COVID, it's really exciting to me, you know, because more so a lot of people are not in the best spirits right now because of COVID, and Greek life has been helping the community, uplift the community, and that's what we do. And it feels good being a part of something that's helping uplift the community, like I mentioned. So my personal experience has been pretty great with Greek life. My chapters helped me gain more confidence and be able to interact and engage. And like I said, been pretty good. Thank you.
Appreciate you all for sharing your insights. So Saisha and I are both a part of Greek life as well. So I'm also a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, and then Saisha is a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. So we do agree with most of their sentiments about the camaraderie as well as having that togetherness. So we, you know, encourage students to be some part of some kind of organization. If you want to go Greek, you can do that. We do have that here for you at Florida State. But if you don't want to go Greek, there are a ton of organizations for you to be a part of and still have that camaraderie and that teamwork here on our campus. So we got another question in the chat. So this is more of an honors question. So will getting denied from honors affect my chances of getting into the university's regular admissions process? So we get this question a lot. So Saisha, you can take it away.
So like I said to y'all before, right, if you're on the call a little bit earlier, we are the Office of Admissions, y'all. We literally look for ways to offer you admissions into the university. And that's the first thing that we try to do. So because of that, if you apply to honors, and let's say you are admitted into the honors, it does not affect your application. We will still review your application for admissions into the university. You can kind of think of them as separate but together, right? We do want you to have access to those honors or those different programs that you can apply for at the university. But just because you might not be admitted for one particular program that you would like to go for, it does not mean that you've been denied admissions to Florida State. And so when we review your applications, we're actually reviewing your applications for most of our admissions decisions, right? So if you apply for fall and we don't think you're as strong as or as ready for fall admissions, then we might offer you summer, and from there we might offer you Seminole Pathways or spring. And so those are all options for you guys. We don't just say, they didn't meet that and throw it out. No, we look at your applications for as many admissions opportunities as we possibly can to make sure that we are taking advantage of getting you admitted into Florida State. So we do not just throw your applications out, and that's on any regard, whether you're applying for CARE, whether you apply for some of our special programs such as music or dance or film or theater. So that's not necessarily how we review your applications. We want you to be admitted, and so we look for all opportunities to do so.
Cool, thank you for that, Sasha. So another follow-up question for the panelists that are a part of our Honors College. Could you all give a description of the Honors College? Like, are there right answers on getting on the application? Like, what did you do in terms of preparing for your honors application? How did you kind of go through that process? So Gabrielle, you can go ahead and start us off.
Yeah, so I've been a part of the honors program since I was a senior in high school. I was admitted after I was admitted to the university. There are no right answers when it comes to your honors application. The application isn't designed like that. It's designed to kind of understand how you think. It wants to get to know your personality a little bit more. It's really focused on your creativity as well. Obviously, I can't talk about what the questions are, but it's just supposed to kind of understand what you value, the things that you care about. And so that's what you really need to go into the thought and like doing the application is, what do I care about most and how am I going to incorporate that into my answers? Because it really just wants to get a more full picture of you, because the only things that they're going to be seeing when they look at your honors application are your answers to those questions. And that's really about it. No GPA, no test scores, like nothing else is going to be seen, because they just want to understand like the person that you are through those questions.
And so while she mentioned that too, I do want to make sure that you all know, like on our website, you can visit us at visit.fsu.edu. We do have application workshops out on our website. And so if you're interested in seeing like, what does the honors application entail, right? Like, what does that look like? What are the things that are going to be asking me? You can actually visit our website and sign up for an application workshop, y'all. Like, it literally is the best thing that you can do to really get some insight before you turn in your application and what you need to be prepared for. And so I definitely want to encourage you all to visit us at visit.fsu.edu. You can actually sign up for a virtual event, and that will get you access to viewing everything that the application entails and getting some more deep questions answered for you in terms of the honors program and our application process.
So I think Nick and Megan had something they wanted to talk about with the honors program, so I'll let you all take it away as well. So kind of give your experience in honors and talk about that process.
Yeah, so I would echo what Gabriella said in terms of the application. It's really just looking at you holistically, what's important to you, what kind of student you want to be, what you're looking to do. It's not as much about like numbers or anything like that defining you. So really just showing yourself, your values in those essays, but I won't say any more about that. In terms of the honors program, the biggest things for me have been the honors community. Really seems like a small college within Florida State University. And it's really helped me to gain a lot of new friends, like-minded people right when I got to FSU. So that was a big thing right off the bat. And then also the advising. But I would say that not getting into FSU honors is not the end of the world. You still have access to a lot of the same advisors that they'll point you to in the Office of National Fellowships or the research advisors. You just have to seek it out yourself. In the honors program, they'll like hound you and be like, you got to come meet with us and help you through these things. But if you don't get into the honors program, you still have access to a lot of the same resources. So don't get discouraged if you are not admitted to the honors program.
Yeah, and to kind of go off of what Nick was saying, you can also apply laterally to the honors program as well. So if you don't get in the first time around, you can start as a sophomore. Plenty of people do that. That's a really great opportunity as well. And in terms of what the honors program is kind of like, a lot of people tend to think that it's similar to how taking honors classes in high school is, which means all of your classes are going to be honors and they're going to be a lot harder than the regular classes and all that stuff. And it's really not like that at all at FSU. So basically you can just choose what honors classes you want to take. And basically an honors class just means that it's going to be 19 students or less, and it's going to be taught by a faculty member in the honors program. So they tend to be more discussion based, seminar style classes. It's a really nice way to meet other people because everyone will know each other's names in the class. It'll be just a really positive environment usually. So that's kind of how the program works. Some of the perks as well is that you get priority class registration. So you can register for classes the very first day registration opens, which is like the best perk probably. But like Nick said, if you don't get in, it's really not the end of the world. There's so many other resources at FSU that are just as good. And you can also do honors in the major if you're in the honors program or not. So you can graduate with honors without actually being in the program.
So as you heard, our honors program is very robust. So there's multiple ways for you to get that honors experience on our campus. So don't be afraid, or don't be, concerned if you don't get in honors, like they said, right away. You do have the opportunity to do lateral admission as well as have honors within your major. So make sure you're taking advantage of all those resources. So another question we have come in is specifically for Taylor. Could you go more in depth about the athletic training aspect? I'm applying in the major of athletic training. So this is a student, a prospective student that's applying for athletic training for this upcoming year.
Okay, so in regards to athletic training program, just to start off, I'll let you know it is a limited access program. So you are going to have to apply into the major. When you select it as a prospective student, as an admitted student, then you'll be selected as an athletic training major, but your sophomore year, you will have to turn in a portfolio that will consist of an interview criteria. You will have to get first aid certified in CPR. You're going to have to get your resume edited, as well as multiple other things that they're definitely going to inform you about and give you plenty of time to fill out. There's literally a whole class called ATR 1800 that is solely devoted to getting your portfolio together for your application. So when you do the athletic training program, say if you are accepted, hopefully, then you will be automatically assigned to a sport for your first semester. So for example, my first semester was swim and dive. So in addition to your specific athletic training classes, such as first aid, orthopedics, therapeutic modalities, you're gonna go to those, you're gonna go to your clinicals. So you're gonna go to the sport that you're assigned to, and you're gonna work during their practices, during their games, and you're just really gonna get the feel of what it is like to be an athletic trainer in this setting itself. Like when I tell you it's exactly the same, like I was up at 5 a.m. to get to swim practice at 6 a.m. And no, I wasn't a happy camper that early, but it was a great way for me to really gain that experience. I learned how to properly take blood pressure. I learned how to rehabilitate students by myself. And as you get in the major more, you're more independent as you go. And it is expected that you become independent as well. So say if someone's like, hey, do you know how to wrap this ankle? Hopefully you'll be able to say yes, because once you get taught once, you're not going to get taught again. So it's a very strenuous program. It's very challenging. It takes a lot of discipline, but it's very rewarding at the same time. You learn so much, and all your professors are the athletic trainers that you're working with, that you're assigned with. Like one of my preceptors, who is the athletic trainer I work under, was also my teacher for first aid. So it depends on the preceptor that you have, but most of the time, a lot of the staff is your teachers as well, which is great because say if you're in clinicals and you have a lot of questions and things like that, you can ask them as you're in clinicals, especially if you're in the same class, and you can apply what you're learning in class to what you're doing in clinicals. So it's very, very nice. But just to sum it up, the athletic training major is something that you really have to make sure that you're focused in, because if you do get behind, it's going to be a little challenging. But I will say the athletic training program has really taught me discipline. It really taught me also what I want to do. It helped me inspire my interest in chiropractic care. So I'm not actually going to get my master's in athletic training anymore. I'm actually going to chiropractic school. But that's one of the other great things about this program, is like they're not totally thinking that you're just going to go straight to getting your master's in athletic training, because they know that sometimes when you get involved, you may change your mind or you may want to adjust your path. And that's what's great thing about them, because they're really supportive in that. And I've actually gotten a lot of resources from them in regards to my chiropractic path. So make sure that if you do happen to get in the program, and if you do come to Florida State, make sure that you really talk to those preceptors and the people that you work with, because those are the people that's going to write your recommendations and really get those and help you get into the doors as well. So those are just a few little insights I could probably give about athletic training.
Thank you for sharing. I know that student is very, appreciative of that particular information because a lot of students can't kind of research and really understand what the program is like by looking at our academic guide. So thank you for that. Then we have another question that's more of a major question. So for incoming freshmen with a major of communications, do you need to take many core classes or will you be able to study in the major right away? I'm not sure if we have any communication majors. I know we have an English major, and I don't know if Saisha want to talk about our academic program guide to kind of give the student more information on what they should be doing next or what they can prepare for going as an incoming freshman.
Absolutely. Like Taylor mentioned before, we do have some limited access majors at FSU. Communications is definitely a college that has some of those limited access majors. And so for any of you out there who might be considering our limited access majors, then I'm definitely going to encourage you to visit our academic guide. You can actually visit us at academic-guide.fsu.edu. This is literally, y'all, the key to academics at Florida State University. We do have an A to Z list of all the majors and professional programs that programs that we offer. We have over 290 programs, and so that is a lot. And so we do encourage you to visit the guide. I know a lot of people are curious about what are the prerequisites? Do I have to have prerequisites? And so on our academic guide, we provide a program description that is going to break down every single major that we offer. It is going to give you a rundown and a snapshot of what the major consists of. It's also going to tell you what are the prerequisites, how many credit hours in prerequisite coursework do you need, how many credit hours in upper level courses do you need, and how many credit do you need total to graduate within that major, and if you're going to pick up a minor or not, or if you have to. And so the academic guide is really comprehensive, y'all. I really want you to visit that. We also offer a comparison tool on our academic guide, and so that gives you the ability to compare up to 3 majors at a time. And so I'll take a common example is our students who might be interested in pre-med, right? You might be wondering like, well, I want to go to medical school. What do I want to major in? And you might be up in the air about biology, biochemistry, or chemistry. And so because when you first apply, you can only select one major, you might be wondering what the differences are. And so on our academic guide, again, academic-guide.fsu.edu, is really going to give you an opportunity to compare all 3 of those majors. What is the premise of those majors? What do you initially study in those majors, and what is it preparing you for? The same thing on our academic guide when in those program descriptions. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, some of you might be like, oh, well, I know what kind of doctor I want to be, or I know what kind of field I want to go into. And so our program description on our academic guide website does provide a list of common careers that students typically go into once they graduate with that particular bachelor's degree from Florida State University. So I'm going to encourage you to just visit the academic guide, y'all. It has so much information for you. Again, you can go to academic-guide.fsu.edu.
Thank you for that, Saisha. So we got a lot of questions coming in the chat right now. So they're coming in fast paced. So one of the questions is the burning question that everybody has now. What do classes look like during COVID? Are they all virtual? Are they, hybrid, half online, half in person? So how does that work with social distancing? So there's a lot of questions they're asking about COVID. So anybody can chime in on their experience transitioning from in-person to us in this fall semester experiencing COVID.
So I can start. That was a big worry for me coming into this new semester, and for the second half of the last semester, was how my professors were going to transition online and whether I'd still learn as much. All of my classes this semester have been online, and I've signed up for classes next semester, and it looks like all of those are going to be online as well. But so far this semester, I've been really surprised the amount of interaction that we have over Zoom. It really hasn't diminished the quality of the class at all. I think I'm learning just as much, if not more, in some of my classes. And it saves me a lot of time having to walk to campus and back to campus. So I've actually been a lot more efficient and still learning just as much this semester. So for me, surprisingly, I haven't minded it that much at all.
I'd like to go ahead and expand on what Nick was saying. Ever since the transition with classes going on Zoom, at first I was a little scary. I learned better in person. I was never the learning online type of student, but since going through last semester, summer and fall semester with Zoom, it's been pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie. Being able to sit on Zoom with our professors, and usually they help you out after class to sit on Zoom for office hours. And being in the comfort of your own home, it might seem like it's going to be difficult to pay attention and stay as engaged, but it's more so being disciplined. Just be disciplined with yourself and find ways to separate times for you to get up, get active, and do your work. And it also saves you a lot of time from parking and the traffic here in Tallahassee. I won't lie to you, the traffic here is it's kind of scary, and especially parking, it's very scary. So it saves us a lot of trouble with that. So I would say my experience with Zoom classes is pretty good. It's been going pretty well.
So thank you all for that. It's a very difficult time, but like they said, we do have that same experience. Yes, it's virtual, but there is a still experience of you being able to connect with your classmates, connected with your professor, to still have that college feel. So don't be afraid to apply. Don't be afraid to, kind of go through that experience, because the growth does happen when you're most uncomfortable. So these students are going through that particular thing now, so they can tell you their experience has not been diminished in any particular point. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're applying to colleges during this particular time. So I have a question for Saisha within our Office of Admissions. So will admissions recalculate my GPA? I have heard that FSU recalculates Florida residents' GPAs.
That's a funny question. Absolutely. So FSU actually recalculates everybody's GPA. When you apply to FSU, just go ahead and assume that your GPA is going to be recalculated. This allows us to put every institution a little bit more on a level field when it comes to calculating GPA. As you know, different counties calculate GPAs differently. And of course, that spans across the different states. And so at FSU, we are going to use what we call the SSAR, or the self-reported student academic record, to help guide us in our GPA recalculation process. And so that's why it's actually one of the steps in our application process is for you to complete the SSAR. And you can actually visit our website at admissions.fsu.edu/first-year/SSAR. And so you can just actually visit us at admissions.fsu.edu, click that first year tab and scroll down to SSAR, and you'll actually find out more information about how to complete that SSAR. But yes, we do recalculate everybody's GPA, not just in-state students. So you do not get any special consideration when it comes to your GPA for our Florida residents. We do that for every single person who applies to the university.
Thank you. We got some more admissions questions coming in. So if you are awarded a summer admission, can you still try for a fall admission?
So if you are actually awarded a summer admission, we expect you to come and to continue on with us in the fall and on through to graduation. And so many people that think about summer as a probationary or trial term, it is not that. If you applied for a fall and because we're the Office of Admission, we review you and say, you know what, we think you're a great student, but we just want you to start in the summer just a little bit earlier, then we expect you to graduate from Florida State. And so you are an admitted student, you are accepted to Florida State. We're just asking you to start in the summer. So that is your admissions decision. It's not often, as a matter of fact, it's very slim that students' terms change once they are admitted. Most of our admissions decisions are going to be final this year. And I say most because this year is very different, right? You all are going through some very unique times. And so that has altered how we were able to kind of do things this year, but it's very rare that your admissions decision will be changed. And so again, if you're offered summer, we expect you to graduate from FSU. So we expect you to complete that summer term and then join us in the fall and continue on to graduation from Florida State.
And one more question for you, Saisha. So someone asked, do you only see our highest math and reading scores while reviewing applications?
So we see the scores that you submit. We will consider the highest components of those scores. And so, yes, we can see it all to answer that question directly. However, because FSU super scores, we are going to only consider the highest subsection scores that you submit to us. And so the best thing that you could do is submit all of your test scores from every test that you've taken so that we can go ahead and configure your composite score, which is your highest and best. It does not hurt you to submit all of your scores, folks. I know that some people think that. It does not hurt you, okay? It can only help you because we actually super score. And so that's something that you actually want to do. You want to send us all of your scores.
Thank you for that. So we're going to go back to our student panel. We have some questions for you all coming in. So have any of you studied abroad? I know a few of you did mention it earlier. And if so, how easy is it to manage studying abroad, and talk about that process? So I'll let Nick take it away.
Okay, so there are a couple different ways when people talk about study abroad. The traditional way is to go through FSU's international programs, and I think some other people might be able to talk about that. But I also want to mention that I've gone abroad twice, to Ecuador and China. So if you're looking through FSU's international programs, which there are tons of them in tons of different countries, but you're not finding quite what you're looking for, there are also lots of opportunities that FSU will fund you to do an experience that you've designed yourself. So for me, that was an internship with an NGO in Ecuador and with the State Department in China. So even if you're not seeing what you want there, you can mold your own opportunities for over the summer, or taking a semester off to do an internship or something like that. And so in that case, I guess doesn't really apply to this question too much of balancing your studies and things like that. But over the summer, you have lots of options outside of international programs as well.
Yeah, I'll kind of take it away from Nick. So I actually came through, like I said before, the International Pathways program. So my first semester, I studied abroad in Valencia, Spain. And what I can say about the program is they really do a great job of letting you balance school and travel. Since you're in a whole different country, you know, they want you to get out there. They want you to explore the world. So they do a great job of that. And it's a very unique experience being a freshman overseas. It's unlike any other. And I think FSU does a great job of nurturing you, making you feel like you're at home while being away from home. Being with a small group of cohort, you know, you really get close to them, and they make sure you guys are connected, so that you guys do have travel buddies and things of that nature, and that you live life to the fullest while you're studying abroad.
Thank you both for sharing. I know study abroad, like they said, it could happen as early as your first semester on campus, or if you want to wait, you know, during your time at Florida State, you can just go to our international programs and kind of connect with the area that you best fits you and kind of figure out where you want to go from there. Another question for our student panel. So how is on-campus living, and how do you apply for it if you're an out-of-state student? You can take it away, Megan.
Yeah, so I lived on campus my freshman year. So that is actually what a majority of freshmen at FSU typically do. We have 14 residence halls for freshmen. So these are what a lot of people would call suite style residence halls. So what that means is that you have a room that you share with a roommate. You each have your own bed, desk and chair, dresser, closet. You guys share a sink and mini fridge, and then you have a bathroom that you share with a room on the other side with 2 other people. So you have 1 roommate and 2 suite mates, and there's 4 people to 1 bathroom. Our housing website has really helpful like models of what those rooms look like. It's just housing.fsu.edu if you want to take a look at that. But living on campus, you have a lot of really great benefits. You do have a resident assistant available to you. So we call them RAs, but those are upperclassmen that work for the housing office. They live on each floor. And they're just there to kind of, you know, enforce community guidelines, plan fun events, just make you as comfortable as possible while living on campus. It's just a great resource to have. It's a great way to meet other people, especially if you're coming from out of state. I know that was part of the question. You would apply to live on campus the same way anyone would. And it's really great, I think, especially for students that are out of state, to live in a residence hall, just because it's going to kind of force you to be social and try to get to know other people. And there's a lot of opportunities there to meet other people that live on your floor. My RA, my freshman year, would organize a lot of fun events, and she would like buy us pizza. We'd watch movies and stuff. And that was a great way that I met other people that lived on my floor who I would not have otherwise met probably. So lots of benefits for sure to living on campus.
Taylor, you wanted to add something to that?
Yeah, I just want to add something quick because I know as university ambassadors, it's a very common question, especially in regards to like selecting roommates and random roommates. So I just want to put that out there that when it comes to selecting roommates, FSU doesn't really offer like a roommate portal or anything like that. It's really up to you if you want to have a roommate that you request, and you can do that by putting their name as a roommate option into the like when you apply for housing. And really what a lot of people do, if you don't have anyone in particular, but you want to be with someone that you feel comfortable with, because I know that is kind of a concern. So a lot of students, they actually do join the Facebook groups for the incoming classes, and they'll find people in those groups that they really get along with. Like my suite mates literally became roommates from The Bachelor. I don't understand the obsession with The Bachelor, but they watched it religiously, and that was the main reason they became roommates. And especially when you move in, and say if you have a little, you have a problem with your roommate, because I know it's not always the best time. I know it's not always perfect, and you may want to get a new room assignment. I do want to let you guys know that that is an option, but you will have to wait until the semester is over. So definitely try to push through, because sometimes, especially girls, we just like to get at each other a little bit. Just kind of push through it, because usually it's not worth moving, but they do offer that if it's a reasonable request, like if the actions match the reason why you want to move, they definitely will offer that option for you guys. But one great thing that the RAs do is they, like Megan said, they come into your room the first week of moving in, and they have this paper, and they ask you all these questions, like what time do you go to sleep? What time do you like to eat? All the questions that you would do that describe your daily activities, just so that you and your roommate have an understanding of what to expect. Like if I want to go to bed at 9 o'clock, even though my roommate may not want to, at least she's going to try to like not be as loud, cut the music off, or things like that. So there's definitely ways to prevent the need to want to move out, but I just wanted to give you guys that information just in case it does happen.
And that's definitely real and necessary, because people think, coming and moving in is peaches and cream. There's a lot of conflict that happens when you get to college. So it's conflict resolution. So if it does happen, you do take those correct steps to making sure that, the action does match the reason why you want to move. Stacey, did you want to add something to that?
Yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and add from the admissions standpoint, folks, the earlier you apply, the better. So if you apply by December 1st, okay, you're going to receive your admissions decision on February 18th. It is first come, first serve with housing. So if you know for sure that you need to have a space to live on campus, because again, it's not required to live on campus at Florida State. It's very highly encouraged, especially for the students who are not living in Tallahassee. You want to make sure you apply early because you cannot apply for housing until you've been admitted to the university, and those first people admitted are those who apply by our priority deadline. So make sure you get your application in by December 1st.
All right, so we have about 5 more questions in our chat that I'm going to kind of hit on, because some of these are kind of repetitive questions. So the next question is for our panel again. So hello, how can I get an idea of what the FSU student body is without touring? I live out of state. Can a student panel talk about the student life and talk about our virtual tours as well? Gabrielle, you can take a stab, because I know Gabrielle is one of our university ambassadors, so she does assist with our virtual campus tours.
Yeah, so definitely taking one of our virtual campus tours is a big way for you to kind of understand what FSU is like. I know we're in very different circumstances now. We would have loved to be able to welcome you guys to campus in person, but these tours do a really great job at still covering all of the same like information, still giving you the opportunity to talk with us ambassadors. People like Nick, Taylor, Megan, all of us serve as ambassadors. So it gives you the opportunity to have different perspectives that we can give, have all of your questions answered, whether it be more on like the admissions or academic side to the more like social and experience based side of things. We also, I'm a part of ARROW, which is the academic recruitment organization. So we do like one-on-one things, and we did do some like online like video type things as well. So they will be sending out like information, especially in the spring semester. If you want to talk more just like one-on-one with a student, admissions also does like a number of different like more specific sessions for like different things. So if you have like a specific interest that you're trying to get a better understanding of, they have that. And then you're also able to email us Both the visitor center and the FSU like admissions office has like an email, so you can either talk to more like an adult, like an admissions officer, or you can talk to one of us like students, and we would be more than happy to answer any of your questions. The last big thing, because we're all on Zoom now, it's very easy to kind of like attend virtual events online. So if you really want to get to know the FSU community, maybe try to attend some of the events that you can see advertised. We do have like a calendar that will tell you about lots of different things that are occurring through various organizations on our campus. So if you're like, this might be something I want to do when I go to college, maybe I should go listen in because they're doing an event about this specific topic, you definitely can do that because those are completely like open to you guys. So that's what I would recommend if you're trying to kind of get a feel for the school, even though you can't be here in person.
Thank you for that, Gabriella. So we got some more questions coming in, some kind of closing us out. So this is an admission questions for Aisha. So if I haven't been able to take the SAT at all due to COVID-19, but still submitted everything else in my application, will that affect my application, or what should I do?
So great question. I'm sure many people do have some questions about that. And so the first thing that I want to address is you do have to test to be considered for admissions at Florida State. So we do need you to have a test score on file, whether it's one test, both tests, 2 times each test. We do need you to have a test score on file. For priority admissions consideration, you do have until the end of this year to test and self-report. Okay, I do want to make sure I put an emphasis on self-report. You all can self-report. In fact, we ask you to self-report your test scores on your application status check. Okay, so as soon as you take those exams and your test scores are available, you want to self-report those test scores and then submit those final test scores to us when the time comes. Our application deadline is March 1st. Okay, so you do have until March 1st to test. So my encouragement to you would be to get into a test between now and March 1st so that you can have at least one test score on file. Like I mentioned before, to those of you who were able to join us when I was talking about our holistic review process, there is more than one thing that we look at for our admissions process. And in terms of academics, we're looking more at anything academic, right? So we're looking at GPA, we are looking at grade trends, we're looking at your test scores, we're also looking at the rigor in your coursework. And so, you know, there's more than one factor into your academic component of our review process. But because, again, we are a state institution in Florida, it is required to us by our Board of Governors in our state that you do have to have a test score on file to be admitted into a state university in Florida. So you do have to have a test score on file. So my encouragement is test before that final deadline so that we can further consider your application, but it is required.
Thank you for that, Sage. So we got another question for our panel. So the question is, do you have any clubs or organizations you found helpful or enjoyable for when you first started going to Florida State? If so, could you talk about that experience?
I don't mind taking lead for that question. I like to talk about my experience. I'm a transfer here at Florida State University. So coming to Florida State was a little intimidating. It was very nerve-wracking. And one of the organizations / programs that really helped me would be CARE. CARE is an organization for first-generation students whose parents are kind of in the lower socioeconomic community spectrum. So basically, they provide programs, opportunities, and resources designated to increase your students like our potential for success. And they have CARE tutoring, they have advisors, they have a lab for you to go ahead and, like, during classes, you can just stop and go ahead and in that lab, take a break. It has printers, colored printers as well, colored ink, so you can get your papers in color. And then, like I said, there's programs like the Summer Bridge program that's meant for high schoolers. That's more so for high schoolers to get that transition and of the college feel. They have an Unconquered Scholars program that's more so for students who kind of are homeless or in a situation where they don't really have that support, and they help those students out with with education, helping them with their living situation. They also have Care Financial Aid. So they provide students with a financial support who are not receiving that financial support they might not be getting from their parents. But like I said, Care was one of the best programs that kind of helped me adjust to this college experience here at the Florida State University. And I recommend anyone who's interested to go ahead and apply. They also do a Care walk-on. So usually you can apply to get admitted into FSU through Care program. But if you don't get accepted through the Care program, you can apply as a Care walk-on. And there's certain requirements that they have you do. Like you will have to sit in the study lab and basically get an amount of hours throughout the semester. And those requirements are really made for you to do better in school. It's not like they're asking for rigorous tasks from you. It's really just stuff to help you improve in school. So don't see it as something that's very, stressful and trying to make you work so hard. But Care is very interesting. I recommend everybody.
Thank you for that, Carter. Nick, you can take us away with the follow-up to that.
Yeah, so I think it really depends in terms of clubs, like what your interests are and what kind of group of people you're looking for. But I want to mention a couple things. First of all, Knowles Central, if you just go online and search FSU Knowles Central, it'll show you all of the different student organizations, hundreds of them that we have on campus. And you can go ahead and look at those now as a prospective student, see what they're about, what they do, and the kinds of students that are on there, follow them on social media, anything like that. And then in the first week of every single semester, they'll have an involvement fair on campus or online in this case. And so you can actually go and talk to people who are leading those organizations, who are in those organizations, about how to get involved with them. And so that's a great way to get involved with tons of different organizations right off the bat when you get to FSU. And if you don't know what to get involved in and you kind of feel overwhelmed by that, you can go to your residence assistant, your RA. If you're living on campus, you can go to your advisors. And a lot of them will know, if you just tell them what you're interested in, if they've been here for a while, they'll know what kind of organizations there are for that. So there are a lot of great resources to kind of hit the ground running at FSU.
Thank you both for that. So the next question will be another student question. Could you all talk about Tallahassee? Like, how is Tallahassee? I know most of you are not from Tallahassee. How was that transition coming to the state capital? And talk about different opportunities that students can do in terms of internships, service projects, those kind of things in our city. You can take it away, Megan.
Yeah, so in terms of the city of Tallahassee, I'm from Miami, so I'm from a big city. So some people come to FSU and they think Tallahassee is like this giant city and it's like the most people they've ever seen. And like, then you're someone like me and I came here and I was like, whoa, it's such a small, quaint college town. Like, it's so cute. So it just depends on like what you're used to. But there definitely are a lot of different things to do in Tallahassee. So we are technically considered a college town. We do have 3 colleges here. We have FSU, FAMU, and TCC. So we have like 80,000 college students in total in the city of Tallahassee. But besides that, it is very residential. We also have the state capitol here. So through the Capitol, there's a bunch of different job and internship opportunities for students. So my second major is political science. And so with that major, I have a lot of peers and classmates that have had really amazing internship opportunities through different offices in the Capitol. All of the government agencies are quartered here. There's so many different like law firms and things like that. They're constantly looking for students to have as interns or to have in entry-level jobs. So definitely worth taking advantage of. I actually have an internship now with like a local, small government newspaper here. So that's been a really cool opportunity for me. I actually got that through Handshake, which is a resource through FSU that helps you find jobs and internships. So definitely being in Tallahassee, you kind of get the best of both worlds because you have a lot of really great job internship opportunities, but there's also fun stuff to do. I've been able to go to a lot of like really cool like nature outings and things like that. We have a lot of like freshwater springs close by. The Panhandle beaches are within a short driving distance. So a lot of people during the hotter months will do day trips out there. And then we have the typical stuff that like every, town has. We've got the mall, the movies, anything like that you want to do. So there's always stuff to do definitely in Tallahassee.
Thank you for that, Megan. So as you all know, Tallahassee is a destination for a lot of students, because like she said, there's 80,000 students here. So a lot of students are trying to get away from their larger environments or their smaller environments to come to a college town and get that college experience. I know they probably can agree with me that coming to a college town, you're more focused because that's literally pretty much the only thing that you're doing here. So going to school and kind of experiencing the town along with your fellow classmates, as well as kind of get to know the area. Being in the state capital, there are a lot of resources that you can take advantage of. So Tallahassee is a destination campus. So a lot of students are migrating here to go for their 4 years of college. And we have another admissions question. So Saisha, is there a big difference in admissions decisions whether I apply for fall or summer?
So there's not a huge difference, but there is a difference. And so typically our students who are admitted into our fall, which is our most popular admittance term, they do have higher GPAs that we recalculate. They do have overall higher super scores when it comes to ACT and SAT. And ultimately, those students are a lot more prepared. We do have more of those students have received more A's and B's during their time in high school. They've also taken more rigorous courses. And so a large majority of those students have taken up to 4 units of a world language. They've taken up to and past calculus. And so those are the major differences when it comes to students who are admitted in the fall versus those who are admitted into any of our other terms. What it says to us is that they're just a bit more college ready. And as some of the students have on this panel have mentioned, is that it is different from high school, okay? It is different even if you are a duly enrolled high school student, it is different. And so typically, the students in the fall are a bit more college ready than those who start in any of our other terms. So that is the difference. Again, not necessarily a major difference, but there is definitely a difference in the admittance terms.
Thank you for that. So we got a few more questions. We're wrapping up our student panel for this evening. So feel free to keep dropping your questions in the chat. We will stay here until all of your questions are answered. So another question we have is from a student talking about intramural sports and workout facilities. Could you all talk about, staying fit on campus? Like what different things are there to do for students to be fit, joining intramural sports, working out, just kind of the usual things for students to do outside of class.
I can go ahead and take lead on that. Oh, you got it.
Yeah, so one of the big things for me has been intramural sports since coming to FSU. I met a really great group of friends my fall semester freshman year. And so for the past 2 years, we have played intramural soccer in the spring. I'll be completely honest, we're not very good. About maybe 2 or 3 of us played soccer like growing up. So the rest of our team is all like very new to it. But that's the great thing about intramural sports is that it's just there for you to have fun. It's for you to enjoy like spending time with your friends. You can play like co-ed. You can play like different levels of difficulty. Like we play the lowest tier because we are just there to have fun and enjoy ourselves. We've made it into like, I guess like the tournament styles towards like the end of the like season both years and gotten crushed. Our first year we got crushed by like a group of I think med school students or something. I don't know, but I was sitting on the sidelines. I had just gotten done with dance marathon, so I said I'll come and support you guys, but I'm too tired to come play this right now. And yeah, it was not a great game, but the entire experience was fun. Afterwards, we went out and like stormed the Cold Stone in Tallahassee. We all got ice cream and pretended like we had just won the championship. And it was a great day. So highly, highly recommend joining some type of intramural sport throughout your time. It's great not only for getting some exercise, but also for just having a great time with friends. And then the gym facilities, I've used both of them. We have 2 kind of gym facilities. We have the Fitness and Movement Clinic in our Health and Wellness Center. It's a little bit of a smaller gym facility. And then we also have the Bobby E. Leach Recreation Center. We just call it the Leech. And that's kind of like the standard like gym when you think of a gym in your head. It's got multiple floors. It's got basketball, racquetball, volleyball courts that you can utilize. It has hundreds of pieces of fitness equipment. They offer free group fitness classes for all of our students, everything from yoga, kickboxing, bar, anything like that. And so you just register online in advance to attend those classes, but it's completely free. So there's lots of different kind of ways to stay fit on our campus, but I recommend utilizing the gym and doing intramural sports during your time.
All right, so it looks like we are wrapping up a little soon, so we have about 5 more minutes. So I'm going to give you all the last question of the night. So it's going to be a very basic question, but kind of give students the opportunity to kind of hear your perspective. What is something you wish you knew going into your first year of college at Florida State?
I can start off real quick. I would say the main thing I learned is it's like my motto, it's not the end of the world. Like in college, you're learning how to, we call it adulting. You learn how to grow up and become more mature and handle things a certain way. And I really had to learn self-control and learn that like, okay, this happened, but it's going to be okay. Like I have a way to fix this. It's not always the end of the world. And I feel like, especially that first year, like, especially when you get your first flu and your mom is not there for you, think you're just going to be done. You're out of it. But you have to remember, like, this is your time to learn about yourself, to learn what you need to do, to learn how your pace is, how your patterns are, to be successful in whatever career or path that you choose. And you just need to know that everything's going to be okay. Especially with school, they have so many resources that there's no way you won't be okay. So just keep that in mind. That it's not the end of the world when stuff happens in college. You got another day ahead.
Something that I wish I would have known was to kind of just trust the process a bit. So when I was in high school, I was very like type A. I liked, to have complete control over absolutely every aspect of my academic and personal life. And coming to college, I think I was just able to realize that, now as an adult with more responsibilities, things are going to fall through the cracks sometimes. It's not always going to be perfect. I did feel homesick when I first got here, I won't lie. But I knew I had to give it all a chance, and I'm so happy I did. The end of my freshman fall semester, my first semester at FSU, I was so happy that I had decided to go away for college. I was the first person in my family to go away for college. So I was definitely nervous about it before, but just, being able to trust the process and understand that everything's going to work itself out. That is something that I really would give as advice to incoming students.
I can touch a little bit for me. So I'm a first gen student. So I came into college with the mindset that like I have to be perfect and like I have to do this because my parents are expecting me to do well. And they kind of put a lot on the line for me to get here. And so for me, it was kind of understanding that I could still do that, but also like balance having fun too, because college isn't just about your academics, it's also about the people and the experiences that you get to have. And so for me, it was kind of understanding that yes, I can still do really well in school and still be academically like focused and prioritize it, but also take time for myself, take time to like grow and get to know people. That was a really big thing for me my first year. I've met some of the best friends I think I could have ever met. Living in a residence hall, being involved in some of the programs and like organizations I am. And they are people who I'm still friends with now, 2.5 years later. I still live with some of them as roommates. And so I think for me, the biggest thing was balance. You're here obviously as a student, but you're also here to grow as a person. So really figuring out that was the most like important thing for me coming to college.
I would say mine's pretty similar to that. I mean, I guess I have two things just really quickly. The first thing I would tell myself, go to office hours. The professors are not scary. They love talking to students, and those connections will be invaluable down the road. But the second thing, just like Gabrielle was saying, my freshman year, I tried to do everything, just saw what all these other people were doing, and I was trying to add up and kind of do all the things that they were doing. But as a freshman, that got really overwhelming really fast. So I would say just take time, breathe, slow down. You only have one freshman year. Take advantage of living that close to so many other freshmen and just kind of enjoy the experience. Obviously, classes come first, but make sure you take some time to slow down and enjoy freshman year while it lasts, because it's gone like that.
Cool. All right, so I would like to share my piece of advice not piece of advice, but what I wish I'd known going into college for my first year. So I wish I would have known not to compare myself to somebody. So comparison is a thief of joy. So make sure that you're running your own race. Everybody's going to get to the finish line at different times. Everybody has different journeys. So make sure you are running your own race and not trying to figure out, okay, this person did this, I need to do this. So don't try to compare yourself to last year's class. Don't try to compare yourself to what's going on the first year you're at college. Make sure that you enjoy your time that you're here. It's a marathon and not a sprint. So I want to kind of close with that, and I'll let Saisha take us away with our closing remarks.
All right. So I really hope that you all had a phenomenal time with us on this evening. So really what I want to just share with you before we conclude is I really just want to remind you all of some really, really important dates to act as a reminder and guide for you. And so again, here are some important dates for any of you who are right now you're applying to the university. We want you to know that December 1st, that priority application deadline is going to be the most important. If you would really like to take advantage of all the opportunities that you are afforded at Florida State University, such as the students discussed and what we've been able to share with you on tonight, definitely make sure that you're meeting that December 1st deadline. And as a reminder for those of you who have a completed application by December 1st, and you're just waiting on those test scores, we will accept test scores until the end of this year, December 31st, 2020, to meet that December 1st priority application deadline, okay? So I do want to invite you all to connect with us. That is a live QR code. If you haven't already, go ahead and scan that QR code. Definitely join our contact list. We do have a team of dedicated staff that is ready to help answer your questions. You can email us at admissions@fsu.edu or simply visit us online, and you can do that at admissions.fsu.edu for a list of frequently asked questions, or if you are ready to start your application to Florida State University. You can also contact myself or Terrell directly. Our information is also on our admissions website, and so you can connect with us there as well. And then also be sure to follow us on social media. We are on Instagram at fsu.admissions. Make sure you follow us on there. We do answer questions via our social media platforms as well. We do want to just remind you all that we're here to help you. We are the Office of Admissions, and we really encourage you all to please reach out if you need assistance in the application process. We do encourage you to visit our website at visit.fsu.edu to sign up for some of the virtual events. We do have application workshops as well, and we also have a couple more, our last two on the 23rd and the 24th. So that's next week. If you need some additional support in your application process, you make sure to reach out and connect with us. And so that's it for the Office of Admissions and our wonderful student at Florida State University. Thank y'all so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing your application soon. Have a good night.